Hello and welcome! This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more BattleTech and my continued look at the backer beta build and the single-player skirmish mode found within. This video will mark the second of what I call a skirmish build. The premise of the skirmish build is that I use mobility and strong long-range firepower to be able to draw my opponent into ambushes, and I'll use that mobility to fade back and hopefully get good positioning on my opponent to be able to flank them or be able to continue to brutalize them with my long-range firepower. In this vein, I'm going to have two distinct roles. I'm going to have an attacking role and a support role. So the support role's job is to give me long-range firepower, again, to draw my opponent into me. If they want to stand back and wait it out, well, that long-range firepower is going to convince them otherwise. The attacker's job is to use terrain to prevent the enemy from getting attacks on my mechs. The whole idea here is we're trying to minimize damage by preventing the opponent from getting attacks of opportunity on us. And the attacker is going to wait for proper positioning using that terrain, and then they're going to unleash devastating close-range firepower when possible. For this particular Lance loadout, I'm going to be using some familiar mechs in the case of the Commando, although I'll be using a different variant of the Commando than we saw in my first video. So usually speaking, I use the standard variant of the Commando, which in my opinion is honestly the better version of the Commando. But in this case, I'm working with a budget level, so to fit the mechs into the budget I'm looking for, I went with a different variant. So this is going to swap out the SRM-6 with a large laser and downgrade the SRM-4 to an SRM-2. So we're losing quite a bit of firepower, but we are getting a little bit of a long-range poke in exchange. So this particular Lance loadout is going to be able to skirmish quite a bit using that long-range poke to hit the enemy and hopefully keep them away from the possibility of getting line of sight and being able to take advantage of that line of sight. So I have two Commandos of that same variant. Moving on then, I have a Centurion. The Centurion is going to use its multi-role capability to not only give me good close-range firepower, but also it's going to aid in the support role with an LRM-10 and an AC-10 being able to give pretty decent long-range firepower. Also in the support role, I have the Trebuchet, and this is the main emphasis of this Lance loadout, is the devastating firepower that the Trebuchet can offer at this weight class. Two LRM-15s is really good firepower, and hopefully that will devastate our enemies. So again, if they're going to play the initiative game with me and try and wait it out, well, we're going to punish them with that, for that. And if that punishment draws them into the ambush, all the better, then we have pulled up off our strategy perfectly. Okay, so that's pretty much our Lance loadout for my pilots. I went with Witness in one Commando and Arc Light in the other, and both of these are going to have a sensor lock ability so we can get that scouting. And otherwise, Witness has the evasive maneuver ability, so we're going to have more evasive charges with him. And Arc Light is going to have the Master Tactician ability, which is going to allow me to take advantage of her initiative bonus to do good hit and run attacks. Moving on, we have the Centurion, which I'm going to have Kraken, high gunnery skill, mixed with the sensor lock. So we actually have three options to get a sensor lock. Because that ability is really important with this strategy. We're trying to fade back, so it's going to be hard to establish a natural line of sight in some circumstances. So you're going to want to leave several opportunities to get a sensor lock, so that if you have an opponent that tries to focus down your scout, they really can't do that because you have three scouting options here. Outside of that, we also have the multi-target ability, which is going to allow us to attack more than one target in a turn. Moving on, we have Apex. Apex is going to, this is my standard go-to support pilot. She has two really important abilities. The main important one is Breaching Shot, but the other one is Multi-Target, which again allows me to attack more than one opponent in a turn. But Breaching Shot also, if we only fire one weapon at a target, will remove cover or guarded statuses, allowing us to do full damage. Very important. And we also have a high gunnery skill to ensure that we get those hits. Now, the one thing that I haven't really done a whole lot of, and I realized somewhat recently, that you can actually combine the two abilities, multi-target and breaching shot, to have that breaching shot work on two different opponents. Even though you're firing two weapons, you're only firing one weapon at an opponent, you can actually get the benefit of the breaching shot on two different targets. So that's something we're going to try and utilize quite a bit here, because with the trebuchet, we have two LRM-15. So I can fire one LRM-15 on one guarded target and then the other one on another guarded target, and that works just fine. I do have to keep heat in mind when I'm doing that. Unfortunately, the trebuchet is a mech that runs a little hot, so I'm going to have to keep that in mind. My opponent, I went ahead and went with the light recon preset at this budget level. For a couple different reasons. I felt like this particular loadout might give me a challenge, a little bit more challenge than perhaps the other loadout we faced in the previous video. And also, the pilots that it came with don't have the multi-target ability, which right now is bugged. So hopefully that is, you know, it's making me not have to come in and choose. These are the pilots that this loadout comes with. So we're pretty much good to go with this loadout. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to be using the river crossing as this is my standard test map, and let's have at it.
Mech warriors, prepare for combat.
So just like with my other skirmish build, I didn't test this build ahead of time, so I don't really know how effective it is. I just have the assumption that it will be effective. So we'll have to see. Now, personally, as I said, I would prefer to have the standard variant of the Commando, because I think that the damage that it has to offer is much more valuable than the long-range attack that you can get. Okay, I'm not exactly sure why the camera spawned outside the map, but here we are. And let's go ahead and start setting up our scouts. I'm going to set one scout in here, in behind this bit of terrain, and the other over here and this bit of woods. The idea being that we're going to try and get contact early on. The earlier we get contact, the sooner we can start using our long-range firepower effectively. I'm going to put the Centurion over here in the woods, but I'm going to keep the Trebuchet up. The Trebuchet has a little bit more maneuverability than the Centurion. The real problem with this particular setup is I am a little bit worried about the maneuverability of my two support mechs here. More specifically, the Centurion. Not a particularly fast mech. And the whole idea of this strategy is we use mobility to fade away from our opponent. And if we don't have that mobility, we might have a hard time with that strategy. Okay, so we already have a sensor contact here, 55-ton mech. I think we'll be okay reserving and allowing their light mechs to go. I'm not sure they'll be able to establish a line of sight this turn. I'm going to assume that they're not going to be able to, so our commando over here should be safe. And in that case, we're better off waiting for them to go, because then we can take advantage of their movements. Again, I don't think that this Shadowhawk over here, I'm guessing it's a Shadowhawk. Actually, I forget. Is that Shadowhawk and a Griffin? Or I actually don't remember what the enemy loadout is. I know they had a Locust, which I think is right here, and they had a Commando, which I believe is over here. I forget what the two medium mechs. I'm fairly certain they had a Trebuchet. We'll have to see what the other one is. Again, I don't think we're necessarily in a bad spot here to reserve again, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. The strategy is very much a reactionary one, so we're going to sit back and wait for our opponent to make mistakes. That's a lot of what it's about. Okay, so that is indeed a Griffin. All right, I already have line of sight without having to do anything else. Now that's Witness. Okay, Arc Light can get away with a hit and run attack here. So what I'm going to do, I think in this case, is I'm going to move Witness back and away. I do have to respect the fact that this Griffin does have jump jets and can jump on top of this hill and possibly establish a line of sight. But I'm going to go ahead and use Sensor Lock because I'm going to try and burn through these evasion charges. Now, if I use Sensor Lock on a different opponent, then I can use that multi-target ability to fire both of my LRM-15. So I might want to go after another mech here. Which one would be the best one to target? I'm not sure. I think we probably want to go after one of these light mechs, so they're not going to easily be able... As I said, I could get a hit and run tack on the Griffin, and focusing all my fire on one opponent wouldn't necessarily be a bad strategy. Is there another spot I would have... up here somewhere? Okay, I could get a line of sight if I move up here, and... okay, this might be where we want to go. So I'm going to go here. This will establish a line of sight on the other opponent. This will allow my Griffin, no, I'm sorry, my Trebuchet to be able to use that multi-target ability, perhaps. So I'm going to come in here, and I'll be able to use my mobility to get out of this situation. Next turn. I might have to sprint away to do it, but I still think it's a good opportunity for us. So,
Copy that.
and I'll be able to poke with my laser here. Okay, so these guys are both equal opportunity. The Trebuchet is the weaker of the two, so probably worth the attack. Alternatively, I could use the more weapons on the Griffin. So let's see what we're like heat-wise. So if I turn off the SRM2, we're not too bad on heat. I'll go ahead and fire more weapons here. So fire large laser and medium laser at this Griffin.
Copy that.
Okay, burn some of that evasion charge away. Okay, now I'm going to have to make up my mind here. So, Kraken could split the target and fire at both opponents. And in that case, we would burn through more evasion charges of the Trebuchet, giving our Trebuchet a better target here. So, I think that might be what I do. So, this opponent... Go ahead and turn multi-target on right now. We got a 45%... you know, that's such a bad shot. I think I'm going to go with just attacking the Griffin instead. Do I want to stay put, though? I don't think so. I think we'd be better off moving, because the idea here is we fade back. So I think I'm just going to reverse. Straight back. Get a little bit of distance. Might make my chance to hit the Griffin worse, but that's all right.
Confirmed.
Okay. Oh, I just took the AC-10 out of the equation, didn't I? Alright, well that's alright. We'll go ahead and fire the LRM-10. That's the only thing in range. Okay.
Awaiting order.
Alright, now I'm going to... As I said, the idea here is to fade back, so... Let's go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to reverse. And I'll reverse in this direction. And we'll face over here.
On the move.
Alright, so I'm hoping we're in range of the Trebuchet. We'll see. Yeah, we are. So I'm going to split this fire. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use multi-target. You're going to be A, and you're going to be B. And the idea here is we're going to use this on B because it's the weaker chance. But as we can see, it's going to break through the guard of both targets. That's our breaching shot. So let's go ahead and fire these off. Maybe not the best use of ammo, but any hits we'll do now is going to do full damage. So well worth it on the Griffin. Not so sure about the Trebuchet here. That's not too bad. Alright, at this point we're going to want to flee with Arc Light so that they cannot retaliate against my move. And in this case, I think I'm going to sprint to ensure that we get out of contact, because a normal move won't do the job. We will be in line of sight, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to go ahead and sprint here. And I am going to sprint up here. Actually, this isn't a bad spot to sprint. I want to sprint as far as I can because this Griffin might come after me aggressively. We'll have to see. Okay, now it's their mech's turn to go. I expect the Locust to try and come in here and establish a line of sight, which it very may well be able to do because of its high mobility. So it just has. I think it sprinted to do that.
I hear you.
So what I want to do is just move away with my commando. I do not want this locust to be able to establish a line of sight on me. Unfortunately, I can't establish a line of sight on it and be able to attack. So in this case, I think we're just going to go ahead and move back and establish a sensor lock. So no longer will the locust be able to see me, so they won't be able to take advantage of that line of sight. But we'll sensor lock it up, and we'll try and knock out this scout if we can. So this is going to be a little bit more of a downturn, but that locust is out in the open and vulnerable to an attack from our lance mates. And I think I can get that AC-10 in range. So I'm going to go ahead and go for an attack here. I am going to face in a way, though, that we can address more than opponents that are coming from this direction. Now, I don't know what that Griffin's going to do, but we're going to go after the Locust here. These are not great shots, but I'm going to go ahead for them anyway, because any damage we can do here will be well worth it. Unfortunately, the AC-10 missed. We really wanted that to hit. But we'll burn through some evasion charges, and hopefully the Trebuchet will be able to make that Locust pay. Okay. Now our Trebuchet is just going to back into the woods here. I might even just use a reverse move. No, I'm not going to be able to get into the woods if I do that. So we'll move like that. The Locust may be able, or an opponent may be able to flank me, but as long as I can get the firepower on that Locust, I'm fine with that. So we're going to open up with both LRM-15s on the Locust. This isn't necessarily a bad shot, and Locusts do not have that strong of armor, so any of these that land are going to do pretty devastating damage. Matter of fact, we just took out its leg, so we're going to have a good opportunity to come in and attack it now. Both of my light mechs, although I don't think the one's in a position to do that. Okay, so the Griffin repositioned over here. That's actually perfectly fine for us. We have just separated my opponents. Now, I think what I'm going to do in this situation is I'm just going to continue to back away from the enemy, but I'm going to use this opportunity to sensor lock. May leave us in a vulnerable spot, though. If that Griffin is able to jump up on top of this hill, they will be able to shoot me, and I don't have much in the way of evasion charges going for me. Alright, well, we're going to have to take that risk. Now, whether or not I'll even be able to use the sensor lock, I'm not sure, but we're going to go for it. Okay, the line of sight there. Okay, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and try and take advantage of the downed Locust, and I'm going to move straight towards it, and I'm going to move into the woods here so that we've got good coverage. The Locust will probably be able to get in behind me if I make this move. Okay. So no evasion charges. I'm going to go ahead and go for the kill here. I don't think I'll necessarily get it. Alternatively, I could go for the torso section, which I have a decent chance of hitting, and I could take out one of the machine guns, but I honestly think the kill is the better call here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm hoping we have enough firepower to get it. Yeah, but we got the kill. So that was perfect. Now that sensor lock that we established on the Griffin is going to be more important, although I imagine... Oh, no, the Griffin hasn't gone yet, so we will be able to take full advantage of, well, some advantage of that sensor lock. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and continue to fade back, so we're going to reverse. We're going to face in this direction because that's where the enemy is at this stage. I'm going to fire one shot off on the Griffin, saving ammo, but also we don't have any other targets, so in this case, we'll get the best shot we can. Okay, not bad at all. Now the Griffin will be able to go. That's why I did that first. Oh, and exactly what I thought might happen, happened. We just took very heavy damage, unfortunately, there. Now the Griffin is probably pretty hot after doing that.
Standing by.
Now, unfortunately, I can't really follow up that attack too much. Let's see what we can do with a attack here. We can sling the AC-10, but that's not really a good shot for me. I could move up and get our medium lasers in range, which will help burn through some of these evasion charges. So now we are going to have to go after this Griffin. Alright, so I'm firing the medium lasers for sure. I'm going to hold off on the AC-10. Although, honestly, 15 shots is quite good. You know what? I'm going to go for this shot.
All weapons, go.
Okay, unfortunately, we missed with the big damage, but we landed with both medium lasers. It's actually very good damage, as our opponent does not have any defense.
I'm here.
Okay, in this case, I am going to continue to flee here with my commando. And I'm really doubting that the Griffin will be able to attack me again, so I'm going to go ahead and sensor lock it and see if we can use that sensor lock against it. Burn through a number of its evasion charges. Here comes their commando. That's going to be problematic here eventually. Okay.
Waiting on you, Commander.
I am going to be able to hit with that large laser, I believe. At range. So, I see no reason why not. So I'm going to move here, and I'm also going to fire here. Might be a good call to wait, but I want to make sure I get... I don't know if I'm going to get what I'm looking for, so... Regardless of what I do, I'm just going to try and take advantage of these, the Griffin while I can. So we'll sling our large laser here. It's not going to be a great shot, but...
Right, Commander.
Oh, wow, we managed to land that. I'll take it. Okay. I think now is the time to use... Honestly, I don't know who the better one to use here is. Honestly, the Centurion could probably do more damage in this situation
Receiving you.
if I stay still. Yeah, we can hit with... So I'm going to go ahead with this. I'm going to fire all these weapons. Let's see if we can do some good damage while we've got a chance. All right, good. The AC-10 landed. Unfortunately, hit a leg. I'm not really keen on that, but very good damage there. Let's see what the Griffin does. So it's going to walk here. Be somewhat surprised if it fires any of its weapons. Okay, it's going to fire the LRM-10. It can get away with that. All right, now fortunately for me,
Aye, aye.
I am going to continue to reverse. We're going to start needing to maneuver here. I'm just going to fire the one LRM-15 into the Griffin. Get through that cover. As long as it has strong evasion like it has. Alright. Now, we do kind of want to knock this guy out while we can.
Standing by.
In this case, I think we can continue to move with our commando. And I can poke here.
Let's move.
So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Try and do as much damage as we can. Fire away.
From position.
Fortunately, we missed, but that is going to burn through an evasion charge. I suspect this commander will be able to come in and attack our Centurion, unfortunately. We'll see. No, it sprinted. Okay.
I hear you.
Going to continue to move and use our large laser here at range.
Got it.
Okay, unfortunately we missed again.
Stand still while I'm attacking you.
Trebuchet is going to go. In this case, it's going to have the line of sight it needs to start unloading on me. So that's not good, what we have happening right now. So I'm going to need to maneuver with a Centurion. So I'm going to move away from the Commando because the Commando is a super bad threat to me. So the further away I can get from it, the better. I'm going to go after the Griffin, as this is our time to do so. I may have to turn off a weapon here. Let's turn off a medium laser and fire away.
Got it.
Okay, good damage there. We can get some good center torso hits. We might get that Griffin out. Question is, how much damage is it going to be able to do? Unfortunately, it moved out of line of sight, so I'm not going to be able to hit it, unfortunately, with my trebuchet. So, in this case,
Standing by.
I'm going to move a little bit further away. And we're going to go after the enemy trebuchet here. I think I'm just going to sling the one LRM-15 yet again. Do some damage. So we're not doing too bad. The enemy Griffin's a little bit on the ropes. Okay. In this case,
Aye, aye.
I think we continue to take advantage of the line of sight we're establishing here. So I'm going to go ahead and come up here, and I'm going to use my large laser against the trebuchet. And see what kind of damage we can do at this range. Okay, we're into that arm. Here comes the Commando. So this is going to be really telling how far it can get in here to do damage on me. It's on my rear. Not good at all. So I'm going to continue to need to maneuver to get that Commando off of me. Either that or I'm going to have to go directly after the Commando. So I could do that with Witness. But I would leave Witness open to attacks from the enemy. Or I could continue to go after this trebuchet at enough range that it won't be able to see me. Nah, I think we might as well just go after... It's actually a tough call here. More than likely, the trebuchet is going to go. Regardless of what I do. So, I think we're going to stick to our guns here. And I'm going to go after the trebuchet. We can knock that out. That is a big chunk of the enemy's damage. Okay, unfortunately, the trebuchet is going to go now, and it's going to be able to do devastating damage. Well, actually, it moved right up to me, so it's going to be lasers. It actually fired its LRMs at that range. Interesting. Okay.
Commander.
I am very tempted to punch this guy. Because I'm very hot. And I really don't have many other options. In my opinion. So, it's going to put me out in the open. But I think this is not necessarily a bad call.
Confirmed.
I mean, maybe it is. Okay, good damage there. Not sure exactly where that landed. Okay, the Griffin's going to come up in here. Looks like it's going to retaliate with a melee attack of its own, unfortunately going through some of my armor here.
Got past my armor.
And we are going to get knocked down. So that's going to leave our Centurion very vulnerable, so we're going to have to try and do something about that. So now this is
Commander.
Apex's time to try and get that done. So we're going to go after... I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive here, and we're going to go after the enemy trebuchet Well, you know, I say that. A multi-target might actually be the right course of action here.
Moving out.
Because we are really close to taking out this Griffin. Just all those evasion charges have me concerned. Let's just go with all of our weapons against the Trebuchet. This is a really good target.
Targeting for an alpha.
Good opportunity to do a lot of damage here. Okay, very good damage there.
That's gonna hurt.
Okay, now we have to make that count. So, in this case, we're going to have to risk our commandos a little bit to do damage here. So I'm going to go after the Trebuchet. We might lose the Centurion, but I think it was worth it,
From position.
perhaps. Okay. Trebuchet's hurt. Another smack to that center torso, and I think we've got this guy down. All right, here comes their commando. Probably going to do heavy damage on our Centurion. Not a whole lot I can do about that. We're going to lose our arm there. Okay.
What can I do for you?
Move Witness into a position to attack the Trebuchet as well. And hopefully this is going to be enough damage to take the Trebuchet down.
Take this.
Okay, I think that was good location. Well, we knocked him down, so that is going to be important. The Trebuchet will probably be able to finish the job. Okay. I'm going to assume... Oh, what are we going to have here? You're going to run back over there. Then are you going to fire upon the Centurion? That was a full sprint. You used focus, and then you full sprinted away. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead,
Awaiting orders.
and we're going to move slightly here. And I'm going to use my multi-target ability. So,
On my way.
multi-target. I cannot call shot the Trebuchet, though, if I do this. So the LRMs are going to be targeted at the Trebuchet. Your B. Okay. So I want the medium lasers on B. But we're gonna have to turn some of them off. All right, I'm willing to take some heat damage here. So 2 medium lasers on the Commando and 2 LRM-15s on the Trebuchet. The Trebuchet should die here unless we get extremely unlucky. Let's go ahead and fire.
Splitting targets.
Okay, dead. Here come our medium lasers. Okay, both of those hit. Good. Gonna take a little bit of structural damage.
Posted, Commander.
Okay, Kraken is gonna stand up. I'm gonna try for a melee attack against the Commando, but if I can't pull that off, that's alright. Let's get into the woods here then. I'm gonna try and move into a way that I can not necessarily get a rear shot against me. And in this case, we're going to go after the Commando because that's the one that I think I can do the most damage to. So turn off the LRM-10 at this range, do the 2 medium lasers, and we'll fire away.
Copy.
Fortunately, we missed with both, but that is going to burn through some of the evasion. All right, so we're going to try and knock out this Commando if we can. So Arc Light
Here.
is going to move. I could focus and get really good shots on the Commando, and honestly, that's not necessarily a bad call in my opinion. So I'm going to move in here.
Understood.
We're going to use that focus shot.
Show me your war face.
Okay, we're going to open up on the Commando here. Attacking from this side should be good for us. We might be able to knock off an arm here. Unfortunately, not quite, but we'll follow that up maybe with our other mech here. We're still going to take damage here. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. Oh, well, I guess I can do a whole lot about that because the enemy didn't really take the opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and move in, and we're going to continue to focus on this one arm. Or this one side, I should say. and fire everything we've got. It's going to be a hard target, but if we land with any damage, it should be good. Unfortunately, it got spread to that leg. Okay, let's see. Griffin's going to jump up there and probably fire on our Centurion. Okay, we're going to take heavy damage here, but I will be able to retreat
Armor blow through. Internal damage.
with the Centurion here,
I'm here.
which is exactly what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to need to maintain
Roger.
facing so that I don't get a back shot, though. Okay, we're going to open up with everything we've got here.
Confirmed. Firing.
Okay. Didn't do a lot of damage because of that 50% reduction.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, I'm going to move into a position so that I can... Ugh, it's going to be medium lasers, it looks like.
Moving out.
Very hot. I'm going to have to... Turn off the LRM-15s, of course. Okay. Well, this will make it so I'm not overheating anymore. Let's go ahead and fire just this one medium laser. We'll do full
Firing on
damage.
target.
Okay, we got the arm. Important. Okay. Now it's Arclight's turn.
Aye, aye.
So Arclight is just going to move a maneuver to get in the rear here so that we can get full damage on the commando while it has no evasion charges. Okay, fire away.
Aye, aye. Engaging target.
Okay, we managed to get the kill. Perfect.
Target destroyed.
All right, now we only have one enemy to worry about, and that enemy should not have a line of sight on me. So
Waiting on you, Commander.
for now, I think I'm just going to position myself in a way that I might be able to get something done next turn.
Gotcha.
We're going to sensor lock up here. Okay. Now the enemy is going to have an opportunity to go. Not sure what it's going to do here. Not moving in the direction it needs to establish line of sight, so it's not going to do a whole lot of anything. Okay.
Orders.
So Kraken is just going to back up here.
Acknowledged.
And sling an LRM-10.
Firing.
And we already got this opponent beat up pretty well, so shouldn't take a lot. And we can take our time with this. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to stay right where I am. And we're going to sling... Oh, no I'm not. I'm going to move slightly. Okay.
On the move.
We're going to sling a single LRM-15 over there. Which it looks like we can get away with our heat.
Confirmed.
Doing full damage. Okay. Not quite enough, but hopefully with the conclusion of this turn we'll have it. We might as well reserve, make our opponent
Waiting for the
move,
right opportunity.
because I don't think there's a whole lot it can do here. Yeah, it didn't even establish line of sight on me, so now I can pretty much, with my light max, I can come forward and just hit and run it. No problem at all, so let's just go ahead and come up close range here and smack this Griffin around a little bit.
This should be good.
Okay, we'll do the same thing with our other light mech. Although we can only get up so far, so it's mostly just going to be... Well, actually, it looks like we can get most of our weapon systems in here. We're going to overheat, so I will turn off just everything but the large laser. This is pretty much free damage we're getting. Okay. Kraken is going to continue to reverse. And sling some more LRM-10s.
Locking on target.
Okay. And Apex is just going to sling a single LRM-15. We are running low on ammo, but I mean,
Take that.
we're not getting the best spread here, but I'm almost confident enough
Standing by.
that I am willing to come in here and just attack again
Acknowledged.
before my opponent gets a chance to go. As we've done so much damage here, I think another, and I'm willing to take a little bit of heat damage here.
Acknowledged.
Okay, we managed to get a
Scored
PPC
critical
crit.
hit. I'm generating a lot of heat. I hear ya.
Okay, and continue to move so that we get evasion charges. Trying to do this in a way that makes sense for us. Okay, we can do this. We'll attack this one side. We might be able to take out the PPC or something like that.
Firing everything I've got.
Okay,
Another hit like that.
so we took the
You're
LRM-10 out. I'm going to assume the Griffin's going to come in and punch me. Fortunately, we lose an arm.
Can't take many more hits like that.
This is kind of the frustration sometimes when fighting the AI. It seems like they have a habit of lasting just a ridiculous amount of time sometimes. All right, well, I guess I'm just going to come in and, well, you know, we want to use the LRM-10 if we can. So let's get at that perfect range where we can fire everything we've got here. Fortunately, we are on rear armor, which is fresh. Our enemy has no weapons, so next turn I'll just sprint away, and there isn't a whole lot this guy can do about it.
Yes, Commander.
Okay. Gonna move.
Order confirmed.
Probably gonna sling 2 LRMs here,
Firing at
as we
enemy.
can do full damage if they land. I'm really hoping this is gonna result in the kill. Fortunately, no. Okay.
Aye, aye.
In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and move Arc Light in here to get a rear shot. Okay, well, let's just use a medium laser, I guess.
On rear armor.
Blew off another arm here. Not a whole lot left of this mech. Witness, just to play it safe, I'm just gonna sprint away. The enemy should not be able to close on me, but who knows sometimes with these death from above attacks. Probably the Griffin will spin around and attack this commando. We'll see. Yeah, unfortunately can't get in range. I can't believe that. And these melee attacks are so deadly. It's kind of ridiculous. It doesn't really matter how many evasion charges it seems like you have oftentimes. Alright, well. Let's have Apex try and finish this sucker off. We're going to focus fire here.
Retreat.
And let's do a, well, we don't want to shut down. We'll do that. That should be enough. Kind of ridiculous we had to put that kind of firepower into our enemy. It always seems like with the AI, when you fight that last opponent, it's that last mech that just hangs on and hangs on. You kill everything on it except the one thing you need to kill to finish it off. All right, well, that's gonna wrap this video up. We made it through with all of our mechs. We took damage. Honestly, I took risks I didn't need to take at the end of the match there just to finish the mech off a little bit faster. We could have danced away. We could have faded away and continued to pepper the guy, but I was just trying to finish it off a little bit quicker, and unfortunately, we just weren't able to do it as quick as I would have liked. But we got it in the end, and everybody made it out alive, so I'll count that a win. In any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.